Hey, so welcome everyone. Let's start seated. And if you always put the same leg in front, just switch which is your normal one. Oh, and let's just maybe scrunch up our shoulders to inhale, exhale, let them fall down. So just a few of those. Inhale, coming up. Feel your whole spine coming up. Exhale, keep the spine long and just let those shoulders and arms melt. One more time. Good. Letting your head come forward, feeling that stretch in the back of your neck. Nice long spine still. And then gently letting your head roll from side to side for a moment or two. Wonderful. And then slowly roll your head back up. And just let's do some small circles just to loosen up our mid body. I feel this morning like I want to keep my circles really, really, really small. So just go with what feels good to you. Breathing deep as you go. Good. Switching directions the other way. Right now, your arms and are just kind of relaxed down, however feels good. Good. Now let's have a few cow and cat feelings. So sort of rounding your back as you exhale. Inhale, bringing your spine long, sort of opening up the chest. And then the opposite, letting your shoulders around, your head come forward. Just loosening up the spine, going really gentle first thing. Good, wonderful. Inhale, nice and tall. Let's just dip side to side, just opening up the side body. So inhale, tall, exhale, dipping to one side, getting a big stretch. Or a little stretch, just going with what feels good. One shoulder dip with the body. Good, wonderful. Now just get as tall as you can in your spine, feeling your pelvis kind of tipping forward. And your arms just straight down. Let's close our eyes or look at the floor. And as you inhale, feel it's almost like your breath is coming up the center of your body. And then as you exhale, feel your breath coming kind of down your shoulders, down to your hips. So feeling kind of like a circular feeling in your body as you breathe in and out. Good, wonderful. Now let's just open up our legs as much as they want to. And just take a moment to just gently sort of sway forward and back, just very gently trying to feel like a loosening up through the hips and the mid body. So feeling like your pelvis wants to tip forward a bit and then ease off. Wonderful. Now let's fold in a leg. Whichever leg you start folding in, do the other one. Do the one that you would think to do first. Now I find with one leg in, it helps me in a way get my pelvis to tip forward a bit more. So let's get really tall in our spines. Big inhale, and as you exhale, see if you can tip forward a little bit more, really getting more of a stretch in your inner thighs. Maybe just letting your arms flop wherever is comfy. So once you feel that stretch in your inner thighs as you are kind of tipping your pelvis forward, let's come into stillness and just hold this for a little while. Breathing deep. Just on the exhale, trying to feel like you're letting your muscles relax. Wonderful. Slowly coming out of that. Let's lengthen out the other leg and just take a minute with both legs out and just sort of go inward and notice maybe your legs are feeling different. Maybe your hips are feeling different. Just breathing deep and noticing whatever there is to notice. Now let's do that on the other side. So curling in the other leg, trying to shift around. So you feel your pelvis trying to tip forward to get a nice stretch in your inner thigh. We just don't want the back rounding, falling backwards. So if you find your back is rounding, maybe have your legs not as open, you really want to have the pelvis trying to tip forward, keeping that nice little curve in the lower back. So breathing deep, seeing if you can go a little deeper on the exhale. And then once you find a good stretch, coming into stillness, just really zoning out, focusing on your breath, just trying to just feel the sensations in your body. Wonderful, slowly coming out of that, now opening up the other leg. Just sort of shift until your legs and your hips feel kind of equal. That's what we're kind of going for. We're going to hang out in this pose, but before we start, do whatever you can to try and feel like your hips or pelvis aren't on an angle one way or the other. Just trying to get everything very symmetrical and equal on both sides if you can. And then feeling really tall in your spine. Let's just do a few sort of exhale, bending one way, feeling that stretch. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, bending the other way. So just feeling this sort of hip side body get a little bit looser. Good, coming up nice and tall. And let's just sort of see how it feels, kind of cow and cat feeling, kind of letting your back round like we don't want it to usually. And then as you inhale, feel like a long spine and getting that arch in your lower back. So just kind of letting your pelvis go back and forth. Inhale, feeling the pelvis tip forward. Exhale, letting the pelvis tip back. Coming up nice and tall, and then try and keep the pelvis tipped forward feeling if you can. Inhale, let's bring our shoulders up and then letting them relax, maybe looking down at the floor. Let's just hang out here for a moment or two, trying to feel that pelvis tipping forward with a nice big stretch in your inner thighs. Focusing on your breath. Relaxing on the exhale. Very slowly, we're going to come out of this. So our legs have been open for a long time. So just helping them come in. Maybe I feel like doing some windshield wipers from seated. Actually, let's go right down onto our backs. That's okay. That's the best way to do these suckers. So coming onto your back, and I really feel like I want internal rotation of my hips now. So inhale through center, exhale, feel that back leg internally rotating. Also just feel kind of a massagey feeling of your hips into the floor. Good. And bringing your knees back through center, and let's just sort of draw in one knee and then have it go back down. So on the exhale, drawing that knee in. Inhale, bring it back down. Just getting the hip going back and forth. Good. Other side. This is just an easy peasy exhale, drawing the knee in. Inhale, bring it back down. Good. Wonderful. Now let's hug both knees in and just rocking from side to side, just getting any sort of outer hip and glute and lower back, whatever you want massaged into the floor, rolling side to side. Just noticing if there's any parts that are angry. Let's do some circling with the knees, one direction. And then circling the other way. Wonderful. So keeping one knee hugged in, and whichever one you start to hug in, switch. Do the one that's not your first choice. And then lengthening out the other leg. So let's do that inhale. You feel your lower belly expand. On the exhale, pulling in the knee a little bit more. Inhale, let it travel away, letting your belly expand. Exhale, really pressing that leg inward to kind of press the lower belly, pressing out the air. Good. So this hugged in knee, we're going to start circling it outwards. So just start loosening up the hip joint, heading outwards first. Good. And switching directions the other way. Good. Now lengthening out that leg, letting your arms flop open. Just breathing deep for a moment or two. Noticing the differences in the two sides of your body. Good. Now hugging in the other knee. Starting with that inhale, feeling the lower belly expand. Exhale, pulling in. Good. Now circling outward first. Then switching directions, circling inward. Wonderful. Now lengthening out both legs. Let's reach overhead if your shoulders allow. Let's flex our feet. Just feeling a big full body stretch, letting your back arch, feeling that stretch in the back of your legs. Take a big inhale, then exhale, letting everything relax. Good. So let's just do some ankle circles while we're here. One way and then the other. Good, wonderful. So walking up our legs, we're going to cross one leg over, hugging it in. We're going to just hang out here for a little bit. So just gently, maybe rocking back and forth a little bit to get set up. But then when you feel a good stretch, just coming into stillness, breathing deep. Wonderful. We're going to keep the top leg crossed over. Let our arms flop open. And we're going to have our knees fall towards that top leg so that your heel is just hooked on to the sort of over top of, the area above your knee so that you're gently pressing down and getting a nice big stretch on the outside of your hip. So just hanging out here. Letting your shoulders and upper body just relax into the floor. Breathing deep. Let's untangle our legs, bringing everything back through center, really slow. And just take a moment to do whatever feels good. I feel like doing some windshield wipers, super slow. So just do whatever your body tells you to do, a slow, gentle movement of some sort. Good. And then let's again reach our arms and legs out for a nice full body stretch, flexing your feet. Just feel your knees unbent for a while. So as you flex your toes, just feel that big stretch up the back of your legs, stretching out the hamstring. Reaching your arms overhead, feeling that arch in your back. So just getting a nice big stretch. Nice big inhale. Then as you exhale, let's walk the legs in. And now try to remember which leg you need to cross over next. Then drawing your legs in. Noticing if it feels different on this side. And then breathing deep, just settling in. Good. Now when you're ready, we're going to keep that top leg hooked over just to help everything flop over towards that top knee, feeling that just gentle pressing down so that you're getting a nice stretch on the outside of your hip, maybe up into your mid body, letting your arms flop open. Just breathing deep, settling in. Slowly coming out of this, notice where things might be a little bit angry, doing whatever you need to do. I feel like kind of circling my legs outward one at a time, like a stepping motion side to side. But just do whatever your body wants you to do. Just trying to find where there's some sort of stiffness. Trying to soften it. Okay, so now rolling onto your side, whichever side allows you to see the screen with your knees bent, stacked on each other, your head resting maybe on your arm. So this isn't really a yoga move, but I feel like we should do it. So
Let's bend the knee up so the hip's going this way, and then lengthen out your leg. Maybe have it go back a bit so the hip is kind of reaching. You're going this way. So just exhale to bring the knee in. Exhale, lengthening out the leg and reaching it back. Just sort of a gentle, just trying to get the hip going this way. Opening up the hip flexors a bit too. Just always going with, okay, how does that feel? Is that a good feeling or a bad feeling? And bad feelings, is it painful in a way that I should avoid, or painful in a way that, okay, it's just a bit tight, I need to loosen it up a bit. Good, wonderful. Now let's stack our knees again, and let's just do a little bit of sort of clamshell opening up the hip and then closing up. Just a few of these. Good, wonderful. So let's roll onto the other side. Hopefully you remember, if you're facing away, head supported somehow, knees bent and stacked, and then top knee kind of bending it in, and then straightening that leg out and kind of reaching it back till you feel a stretch in the front of your hip flexor, and then bringing that knee in again. Just kind of like swinging our leg in a way. Good, then stacking your knees, and let's just do a few of those clam shells where you're just opening up and closing up, feeling kind of the glute squeezing to open it up. Good, wonderful. Rolling back onto our backs, hugging in our knees, and just rolling side to side for a moment. Good. Now feet on the floor, knees bent, and I want to do the thing where we're kind of trying to rock our pelvis. So it's like you're tucking your tail to scoop your pelvis, and then it's like you're going down your tailbone to arch your back. So just kind of a rocking motion back and forth, just kind of trying to loosen up the pelvis. The movement doesn't have to be huge. It might feel nice in your lower back. You're kind of like massaging. Good, wonderful. Now let's hug in our knees. So this is the real trick if you have lower back issues, is with your knees hugged in, try not to be flattening out and pressing your lower back into the floor. Have, as you hug your knees in, try and have your weight on your pelvis and your hips, but keep that nice sort of the little, not an arch, but the possibility of your arch in your lower back. So just not sort of pressing that nice little arch into the floor. So now we're going to bring our legs apart. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you just want to hold onto your knees. Maybe you want to support behind your knees and open up your legs. Again, not squishing your lower back into the floor. And sort of supporting behind your knees, but letting gravity really open up your legs. Or you might want to go into happy baby. So just choosing where you want to be. Just making sure your lower back isn't getting squashed into the floor. And just breathing deep. super, super slow. Let's bring our legs back together. Just notice if they're kind of, wanting you to even go slower. Good. Doing whatever you need to do. And then when you're ready, let's come into just a gentle twist. Maybe sort of scooching your hip one way to let your knees fall the other way. Arms just opening up. Trying to find the most gentle, nice feeling twist possible. And then taking a big inhale, and on the exhale, just melt into it. Super slowly coming back out. Doing whatever you need to do to get your spine untwisted, maybe hugging in your knees. And when you're ready, scooching your hips the other way to let your knees fall the other direction. Sinking into it on the exhale. Very slowly coming out of it. Hugging in your knees for a moment or just doing something to get your spine untwisted. When you're ready, take a nice inhale and exhale, flopping out to Shavasana. Letting those hips just fall open, letting your shoulders relax into the floor. Just letting your head nod side to side a little bit, releasing any tension, and then nice big inhale, exhale, melting downward into stillness, closing your eyes, letting go.
Slowly starting to lengthen your inhale. Or if you want to stay in Shavasana, please do, letting your breath lead the way. If you need to move on with your day, rolling onto your side, coming back up to seated. Looking at the floor, closing your eyes. Just take a moment or two to connect back to your breath, breathing in deeply, feeling that strength coming up the very center of your body. And exhale, feeling that calm release in the shoulders. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. The